morning and welcome to the midweek edition of Inside Nigeria, your breakfast show on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ugbebo and today is Wednesday, November 2024. On today's program, we are going to be looking at front headline stories of some select newspapers, including Nigeria's most influential leadership. As we normally do on the program, we go with leadership. Let's see what leadership's leading stories are this Wednesday. It says CSOs, that is civil society organizations, experts kick against 1.767 trillion naira loan request. CSOs experts kick against 1.767 trillion naira loan request. Question government's continuous borrowing. Tinubu writes NAS wants MTEF/FSP NSIPA amended. Leading story on leadership today, Wednesday, November 2024. Incidentally, it's also a story that is making the cover of other papers we have on our lineup today. Let's continue with leadership. We also have the picture of Governor Muhammad Inuwa Yahya laying the 2025 Gombe State budget before the State House of Assembly in Gombe yesterday. Yes, it's the time of the season. Many governors, and just like President Bola Tinubu did, are also sending their budget to their State House of Assembly. Nigeria ranks 7th in number of students in US. 95 million Nigerians lack access to sanitation services, UNICEF. 25 die of cholera, 15 hospitalized in Sokoto. We are losing husbands to court killings, Edo women. This is also following the heels of a report coming in from Edo State that the governor, Senator Monday Kwebolo, has already directed that the action should be taken against court groups in Edo State. Moving towards the mindset of leadership, Nigeria cannot thrive without prosperous North President. Nigeria cannot thrive without prosperous North President. The story runs on page 7 of leadership. And on the business boss of leadership newspaper, Tompolo alleges complicity in oil theft as Navy defends self. Tompolo alleges complicity in oil theft as Navy defends self. Let's see some snipers from that story. Prominent ex-militant leader in the Niger Delta, Chief Government Ekpemu Mopolo, popularly known as Tompolo, has alleged that the Nigerian Navy is undermining efforts to combat crude oil theft in the region. Receiving the National Executive of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, led by its national president, Mazi Afam Osigwe, San at Okroza, Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State on Tuesday, Ekpemupolo said the Navy was operating at cross purpose with other state actors and private security outfits, saddled with the surveillance over the nation's economic assets in the Niger Delta. He accused the Navy of facilitating crude oil theft and engaging in sharp practices related to petroleum products in the oil-rich beds. He further alleged that the Navy collaborates with illegal oil barons, thereby sabotaging the nation's economy. However, the Nigerian Navy spokesperson, Commodore Iwuyo Aliyu, has dismissed the allegations, assuring the public that the Navy remains committed to combating crude oil theft in the Niger Delta. These are paragraphs from that second headline story on leadership today. Tompolo alleges complicity in oil theft as Navy defends self. From that business boss story on leadership, we will move to the stories above the masthead of leadership newspaper. Terrorists attack soldiers in Borno, many fear dead. Terrorists attack soldiers in Borno, many fear dead. Shetima senators pay tributes to the late Ifeanyi Uba. From there, we move to the page 3 of the paper where we have our stand. Today's stand is on media industry in a harsh environment. Media industry in a harsh environment. The Nigerian media industry faces harsh economic realities, with media owners struggling to cope with the high cost of newsprint, ink, broadcast equipment, and other production materials. The industry's situation in the current harsh economy is pathetic. Operators struggle to survive in an environment where inflation, Fluctuating exchange rates, collapsing infrastructure, and soaring production costs eat away at their lifeblood. Of course, it's a stand you want to read today on leadership. You will have to log on to the website. But before you do that, let's move to the back page of today's Wednesday column with Olufunke Barua. She's writing on selective justice, protest, punishment, and privilege. Today's Wednesday column with Olufunke Barua, selective justice, protest, punishment, and privilege. And in quote, to my friends, everything, to my enemies, the law, Oscar Benavides, former president of Peru. With that, we bring to an end the review of Leadership newspaper this Wednesday. For more, log on to the website of Leadership, www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we move over to the next paper on our lineup today, and that is Daily Sun. Daily Sun has same similar story as its main headline story. It says federal government seeks fresh $2.2 billion loan. Minimum wage hike to swell federal government's personnel. Pension cost by 3.29 trillion naira in 2025. Federal government seeks fresh $2.2 billion loan. Minimum wage hike to swell federal government's personnel. Pension cost by 3.29 trillion naira in 2025. Beneath that headline story, we have a picture of President Bola Tinubu with other leaders of the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty during the G20 Leaders Summit at Museum of Modern Art, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Beneath that, we have Wike to pay 1.1 billion naira compensation to property owners affected by FCT Highway 105 project. Approves 70,000 naira minimum wage for workers. Mba identifies missing link in educational system. Governor Mba is the governor of Enugu State. He identifies missing link in educational system. Senate pays tribute to late Ifeanyi Ubah. Oil theft. Tompolo accuses Navy of involvement in illegal oil bunkering. Tompolo accuses Navy of involvement in illegal oil bunkering. That takes us gradually to the masthead of Daily Sun. Nigeria orders to benefit from $1 trillion global warming mitigation fund. Nigeria orders to benefit from $1 trillion global warming mitigation fund. North development central to Nigeria's prosperity. Tinubu targets tech, agri, creative sectors in region's youth development plan. The story runs on page 6 of Daily Sun. With that, we conclude front headline story review on Daily Sun. For more, log on to the website of Daily Sun newspaper, www.thesun.ng. From Daily Sun, we also move to The Guardian. It's still on budget issue. Guardian's headline story says 2025 appropriation bill. Fiscal hurdle outweighs 47.9 trillion naira budget. MDA's mobilization capacity. And in quote, while the proposed budget is ambitious, it is essential to implement effective strategies to increase revenue generation. These include strengthening tax administration, expanding the tax base, and improving tax compliance. By taking these steps, Nigeria can work towards a more sustainable fiscal future. End quote. We have underneath that appropriation bill headline story, we have 19.6 trillion naira from oil revenue target, 13.07 trillion naira deficit. We have 5.7 trillion naira from non-oil taxes, 2.87 trillion naira from government-owned enterprises. We have 3.6 trillion naira from independent revenue and 4.8 trillion naira from other sources. This breaks down the 2025 appropriation bill sent to the National Assembly. That is 47.9 trillion budget. Underneath that, Ondo Guba poll, Ajayi rejects results, vows to take legal action. Agbola Ajayi was the PDP candidate for the Ondo Guba election. Social challenges, Tinubu warns of unrest as Zulum decries IDP camp polygamy. Senate VP bid Ubah farewell with glowing tributes. Food insecurity threatens Nigeria's stability future, says Minister. Federal government revokes directives relating to NYSC posting restrictions. Falana underscores right to free education, plays errant state government. Tompolo accuses Navy of aiding oil thieves. And lastly, on the cover of the Guardian newspaper, expansionary budget will worsen inflation, forest crisis, NES warns federal government. That concludes the review of front headline stories on the Guardian newspaper today, Wednesday, November 20, 2024. For more, log on to the website of the Guardian, www.guardian.ng. We move to the next paper we have on our menu today, Wednesday, and that is Vanguard. Vanguard's main headline story says prolonged power outage worsens hardship in Niger Delta. Prolonged power outage worsens hardship in Niger Delta. 4 months of darkness in Bayelsa. Lack of power supply, high cost of fuel, drive up prices in Cross River. Poor equipment, others hinder transmission. Households, businesses suffer setbacks. Experts, others proffer solutions. These are kickers to the main headline story today on Vanguard. Prolonged power outage worsens hardship in Niger Delta. Beneath that, we also have the picture of President Bola Tinubu flanked by the First Lady, Remy, and the DG of WTO, World Trade Organization, and also the President of African Development Bank, AFDB, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, at the ongoing G20 Leaders Summit in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, yesterday. And beneath that, the news continues. Experts warn as Tinubu seeks approval for $2.2 billion fresh loans. Presidency clarifies spokesman status, talking about the new media appointees at the villa. Monso begs Tinubu to intervene in Rivers crisis. Opposition politicians not IPOB responsible for violent attacks, Abia government. Ukraine fires 6 US long-range missiles at Russia. Ukraine fires 6 US long-range missiles at Russia. Long-range missile signifies doctrinal shift, as envoy Olumoko. And in sports, CAF Women Championship League, TP Mazembe beat Edo Queens 3-1. That takes us to the stories about the masthead of Vanguard. Remittances, CBN cautions public on use of fake SWIFT messages. Nigeria's growth will come from human capital development, not fiscal assets, Governor Mba of Enugu State. Okpebholo declares war on cultism as killings continue. World Toilet Day, 95 million Nigerians lack access to basic sanitation services, UNICEF. Shettima to governors work towards ending open defecation. World Toilet Day, 95 million Nigerians lack access to basic sanitation services, coming from UNICEF. Shettima to governors work towards ending open defecation. That concludes review of front headline stories on Vanguard newspaper today, this Wednesday. For more, log on to the website of Vanguard, www.vanguardngr.com. From Vanguard, we move towards this last paper we have on our menu today, and incidentally, that is the Punch newspaper. Punch is talking politics. It says PDP crisis, Damagun to remain chair as NWC state chairman meets. PDP crisis, Damagun to remain chair as NWC state chairman meets. Pro-Wike governors insist on keeping Damagun till October 2025 as NEC meeting tops agenda. We also have the picture of the Vice President Kashim Shettima presiding yesterday at the National Assembly as they held valedictory session for late Ifeanyi Ubah. Tributes as Senate holds valedictory section for late Ubah. Meaning that we have federal government begins 1 million meters distribution to Band A customers. About to wed couple accuses general of assault in FCT. Agents petition NCAA as foreign airlines sell tickets in dollars. Beside the masthead of the Punch, 5 soldiers, 50 terrorists killed. NSCDC agents missing in Borno, Niger. And above the masthead of the Punch, APC PDP governors disagree over oil revenue sharing. Dangote refinery begins petrol exports to West African nations. AG uncovers 4.6 billion naira unapproved spending in Umahi's ministry. That concludes the review of the Punch newspaper this Wednesday. For more, log on to the website of the Punch, www.punchng.com. From the Punch, we also bring to an end today's Inside Nigeria. We looked at front headline stories of some newspapers and their developing stories. Don't forget to join us same time, same station for another fresh edition of the program Inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred, but don't also forget to join us for news on the hour on this station. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have